Hello and welcome. My name is Minina Chao, and I am part of the SAP community team and your host today for the community call What's New with SAP Intelligent RPA? This time for a tech-focused audience. Obviously, we have another call about what's new with SAP Intelligent RPA, but for business focus, this is a separate call. Before we start, I want to introduce you to the Zoom functionality. You will see the Q&A button somewhere on your screen. Please use that to ask questions. We will, of course, have enough time for questions at the end of the call. I will now quickly introduce you to our speakers that are today with us in this call. So we have Xiaohui Xu, who is Software Development Manager at SAP Intelligent RPA. She leads in particular the store marketplace for Intelligent RPA and cloud operations. She holds a PhD in computer science and has over 13 years experience in software development and involved in various projects, including data analytics, cloud predictive, and now Intelligent RPA. Then we have in this call Thierry Gourdin. He is Adoption Manager at SAP Intelligent RPA. Thierry has a proven record of expertise on Intelligent RPA bot building, collaborating with external customers, internal stakeholders, and to bring technical expertise as well as project methodology. Raghavendra D is Development Architect at SAP Intelligent RPA and an expert on building solutions for the intelligent enterprise. He's currently responsible for adding intelligence to SAP Intelligent RPA. Then we have in this call Rajesh Mayumba, who is developer at SAP Intelligent RPA and also expert on developing RPA solutions. He's currently working as a developer and in Bangalore and responsible for SAP-GUI automation driver in Intelligent RPA. And then we have Fred Van Boer. He's development manager and has the specific focus on runtime part. We have Sebastian Lavournant in this call. He is developer for VSDK and he has 10 years experience on development on Office, and it of course makes sense that he's in charge of Office for VSDK. And then we have Simon Rabourg. He is also developer at SAP Intelligent RPA and designing the Cloud Factory as well as the Cloud Studio. And before this, Simon was part of the SAP Analytics Hub development team. And yeah, but now he's with us and also talking about what's new with SAP Intelligent RPA. Now I want to quickly go over the agenda of this call. So we will first have Xiaohui with trial, and then we will go into store, surface automation, end-to-end demo, advanced demo, and then we'll have plenty of time for Q&A. There will also be a little poll at the end, so I hope you stay tuned and follow us through. And since we have so many speakers and so much on the agenda, I want to now hand over to you, Xiaohui, to start with the first point on the agenda.
Thank you, Mina. So I will start by showing you a video. So to run into the trial demo, that is one first part of the agenda. So let me just share my screen. It should be coming. So to know that we have roll out the functionality for you to be able to subscribe to IRPA using the trial tenants. So to recall that Intelligent RPA is a service that allows you to automate repeatable processes. So to try out with the trial, so let's come back to the fundamental part of this video. So you can start with the Intelligent RPA documentation. So you can see that here in the IRPA homepage, you can start the free trial. So this will then link you to the cloud platform trial pages where you can register for free because Intelligent RPA is a service of the SAP cloud platform. So it's part for then the SAP Cloud Platform trial services. To subscribe to the SAP Cloud Platform trial, you should then enter all your information if it's the first time for you to log on. And once you have obtained a user password, then you can log on to the SAP Cloud Platform. Okay. It will provide you all the information. You enter your trial account, and you can see that here a global account and also a space has been opened for you. So you can open it, and in which you have all the functionality of Cloud Platform. As part of it, there's subscription that you can make. So the trial subscription, that's where you can find out the IntelliLenge RPA. You open it, and then you can subscribe to it. So to know that subscription will stay for 3 months. It takes some time to subscribe, but once this will be done, the IntelliLenge RPA, then it works and it's available for you. Before you really log in to the trial tenant that you have just subscribed, you should first configure your access to this tenant, because as it is your trial account, you can decide who is able to do what and who has access to it. So to do this is also as part of the SAP Cloud Platform security login. So here in the security, you should first define some role collection that is following the IRPA documentation. So for example, here in this video, I create a role collection with the IRPA officer that has all the rights. And then in the trust configuration, then you say that my user will be able to then have this role collection. So with this, the user that you have configured then is able to use the IRPA. To use IntelliLenge RPA, you also need to download and install some desktop components. So for this, you can see that you have the useful link with the tools that you can install. That's where you can find the desktop installer. To know that the IntelliLenge RPA desktop component require you to also install the Visual C++ redistributor package. So this you can download it from the Visual Studio page that you can download and install. This is prerequisite for our component install. And then in that SAP development tool page, you go to the cloud section. That's where you can find out the downloadable for the IntelliLenge RPA desktop components. So you install that. It is quite fast. And once it has finished, then here it will launch a page where you can then connect it to the cloud platform. All right, this is also required to have a user password. So with this, you have your 3 components that are available for you to test. You have Desktop Studio, you have Cloud Factory, and you also have Desktop Agent. And with that, your trial environment is available. You can connect to it, and then you can use it to test the trial functionality. Okay, of course, we also have a lot of documentation that is available on the SAP documentation. So here the URL is showed on the top of the video. So help.sap.com viewer PIRPA. Okay. So with this, I will stop the sharing of this video, and from there, I will also show you a live demo here in a trial account that allow you to also use the store functionality.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Xiaohui. And the next up in this presentation is you and Thierry, right?
Yes.
About store.
Yeah, I will continue.
Sure, perfect.
So here I show again my screen, but here I will do a live demo here because in opposite to the trial, that the real subscription will take some time. That's why I choose to do a video. Here I can use a trial attendant that I have just created specifically for this presentation, and I will show you from here how to access to the store and how to use it. So here. It's a trial attendant that I have just created a few days ago, and you can see that once you log in, actually it can see as a continuation of my previous video. It is a trial account, and the trial account is limited. And you can see that in total we have 300 job run that is available, and we have run some tests just to check that everything works fine. You still have here in the homepage shows that you have a remaining 589 job run that is still available. So once you log into the Cloud Factory, it is very easy to find our store. You have now this new tab that is available. It gives you the catalog of the store and all the available content. There are two sub-tabs here that are available. You have Explore, you have Acquisition. So let's first just go to the Explore. It gives you already the catalog. You can see there are different tiles that show you all the available packages. You can scroll on it, of course, and when you are at the end of the page, then we'll extend it, so you can continue. You can also search for it. You have the search bar. So, for example, if I search for purchase, of course, if I type the right word, and then you have all the content that will show up in relation with the purchase. So you can go whatever that is available, and then you can come back. You also have on the left-hand side some facets that allow you to filter on it. So you have a category, line of business, and the industry that are here available with the number of the related content that is here. So all this categorization are based on the SAP standard taxonomy. So it means that if you use some application and you already know that to which category, line of business or industry SAP has classified them, then you can just click on them and then to know where they are. So for example, here, if I click on finance, then I see I have currently 2 packages that are in relation with the finance. Okay. You can go into each detail of each package to learn more from it. So, for example, here I'm in the package of a supplier down payment request. You can see that who is the author who published it. So here is from S4HANA, and when it has been published, you have a very short summary of it, but you also have a more detailed description with also link to the SAP notes. You have the content of this package. So for example, you know what are the scenario that is available, what's the desktop package, and also there are a bunch of other files, like there's a test script. They also have some documentation and the desktop archive file that allow you to download. You also have text and also, of course, all the categorization and etc. that is available. Tags allow you to navigate bridging packages. So for example, here for this package, you can see that it has 4 different tags. If you click on it, then you go to all the other packages that also have the same tag. So for example, if you click on it, you can see I come to another package here that also have the Excel tag because I have clicked on it. So to get a package, it is very easy. So here in the store, you can see that you can browse in the catalog. You can see what's all the description of the package, but you cannot yet use the package. So to use the package, you need to first get it into your trial attendant or into your attendant, and then that's the moment that you can start use it. So to get a package into your attendant, you just need to here click on the Get Package button, and you can potentially change the name that you want to have into your environment. And once this is done, here is how you are directed to the acquisition page of the list of the acquisition you already made. So sometimes you need to refresh to get updated status, but you can see here in the package that I just triggered the acquisition, it is successful. You cannot get the same package twice because once this is there, it is there. So that's why that sometimes you might have a failure because this package already exists. So this is also shown here in this page that I'm showing you. So once a package is it is there in your environment, then you can see it in your package tab. So here you can see that here we have already acquired 2 different packages. This is the one that I've just get it. And if you open it, then you can start browse into the package itself. You can see here there are some there's an archive file. There's here some sample files that you can use. And you can also see that here they have a desktop package, and it also show you what's the scenario that can be used from here. So yeah, and starting from here, you can use the package, you can adapt it, and you can also deploy it for testing. That's why there's the button. So to continue this demo on the store, so that's now I will hand over to my colleague Thierry, who will show you a concrete example of one package getting from the store, and then also how to use it, and also use it to get into the IRPA. Okay, so Thierry, I hand over to you.
Yes, thank you. Let me share my screen. So thank you, Xiaowei. So let's present now how to use a pre-built package from the store. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Cool. So we're going to see the whole process from the retrieval of a pre-built store package to its execution with the desktop agent. First of all, let's fetch a sample from the store. As Xiaowei explained, you can use any kind of filters. Here I'm using the category filter in the development category. So this category gathers a bunch of samples dedicated to specific technical topic you can use to practice, learn best practices, and so on. So for example, when I browse on this package RPA Challenge, it's about automating Excel with rpachallenge.com website. This website proposes challenges to RPA tools for testing their robustness and performance. So let's say I want to try out this package. As Xiaowei explained, there's lots of interesting things, and you have to get the package. But here I already downloaded in the tab package tab. So once we have our package ready and you click on it, it will show some interesting things. First, you have the exported package here, which has been compiled with a specific version. Here it's 104. And it's almost always mandatory to export a project with your own studio to ensure its compatibility with the agent you have installed on your machine. Here, for example, I have the latest 1.07 version on my machine, and the compatibility is not guaranteed. So you'll have most of the case the need to re-export it. And besides, the store package have been cleaned up from sensitive data for security or GDPR reasons. So you will also often have to finish the configuration of the project before re-exporting it. This means that you probably won't use the already exported desktop package really often, but instead you'll need the desktop archive, which is here, that contains the project sources and the configuration guide to help you finish the configuration. So you can download them, and I will let you show how it's presented. Let's begin by the configuration guide. So the configuration guide contains a functional and technical overview of what's in the package. You'll have also a description of all the captures and declaration it has been done inside, and the list of scenarios. You will also have the version which has been used to compile and export the project. As I said to you, it's really important to be sure that it's compatible with your agent version. And above all, you'll find the prerequisites you need to go through to be sure that you have a working boat. For example, you may be asked to modify some sources or add variables in the factory environment, such as different application URL, credentials, or even path. You may need to configure as well a service if it's required for the boat. So all these points indicate that you would need most probably to re-export and configure the end of your package. In our case, I took a really simple one. We don't need to change any kind of sources or let's say variable in the factory, but still we need to configure our boat with our product version. So let's open the project. And by the way, it's time to sometimes you may want to dig into the project to see how it has been built, especially with this kind of configuration using Excel and website. So here, of course, you have all the declaration we needed to execute the boat, and then we have 3 different scenarios. The first one, which is the main, will start a sub-scenario for opening the website and downloading the Excel. Then it will grab all the data from the Excel file and hand over to a new sub-scenario, which name is SC challenge, to loop over the data and fill in the forms. So once everything's okay, it's of course recommended to test the project locally in debug mode, what we are going to do. Okay, so the debugger is starting, and I now have my icon, and I can launch my my boat. So I can see that the RPA challenge website is loading. The Excel file is downloaded and opened, and then all the forms have been filled. So I'm quite happy. The script is working, and now I'm able to perform the last thing to do, which is the export from the studio to the Cloud Factory, and so on and so forth. So now let me start my agent. During that time, you have to make a new export. And during the export is done, I will come back to the package tab and import my new package. And this one. So when it's created, I have to deploy it on my environment. I click on deploy, and once it's deployed, yeah, just take a few seconds. You can create whatever trigger you want. Here, I want to create an attended one. We are Wednesday, let's say here on this time slot, and it's created. Now I have a trigger for attended, which points to my local machine, and I need to wait for the package to be downloaded. So during that time, let me wrap up what is important to remember when you want to use a package from the store. 2 things. So you need to retrieve the project sources and re-export your package with your studio to ensure compatibility between agent and package. And second thing, the configuration guide is your friend, let's say. It will explain you all requirements to fulfill in order to have a working boat. So I'm still waiting for my package to come. Sometimes it takes a bit of time. Start my agent. Yeah, my agent is idle, so everything's correct for now. Oh yeah, great. Perfect. Now I think my package has been downloaded and I can verify that from a production machine, let's say, it's working well. So still the website is opening, the Excel file has been grabbed and the forms have been filled in. So that's it for the demo. Over to you, Menina, to introduce a new feature.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for your demos. The next topic is surface automation by Raghavendra.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Menina. Let me share my screen. Okay. Yeah. So first I'll talk about what surface automation is all about. And then we'll see what's new for the latest release under surface automation. And then we see a live demo. So what is surface automation? So as you might already know that SAP Intelligent RPA provides you the underlying infrastructure to interact natively with certain type of applications. For example, if you want to automate Windows applications, we have Windows connectors where you can directly natively interact with the applications and build your bot. Similarly, if you want to build automation with a web application, then we have web connectors. But occasionally you may want to interact or build bots with a legacy application, for example, where there is no underlying connector within RPA. So how do you automate such an application? So in such cases, what makes sense is to grab visuals of the UI and then do OCR, then try to understand what the texts mean, and then try to interact with the application as if it appears as if we are natively interacting with the application itself. Not only that, you may have cases like where you are interacting with usual applications, but in a virtual environment, like in a Citrix environment, where you do not have access to install agent, for example. So yeah, so in that case, we can use surface automation to build bots. And surface automation is already available since 1910 release. So there are quite a few minor technical improvements that we have done for 2002. But if I have to talk about a major release, then it has to be template matching. So what exactly is template matching? Again, you may have to interact with certain tricky applications where it could be difficult for your OCR program to extract text in some of the applications, or you may want to interact with certain controls where there is no text. For example, you have these icon buttons where there's just graphics on it and there's no text to interact with it. So template matching helps you to identify those areas as zones, and then uses traditional computer vision to match those set of pixels at runtime. And yeah, and then you don't have to rely on text or anything like that. You directly interact with those controls as if we are natively trying to identify those controls. And yeah, you can also use the template matching to increase bot stability. Because typically what happens is we use labeled by feature to identify certain random zones for example for icon buttons. And what happens is that if in case you get into a fluid layout, then there's a chance that the target zone may drift apart, making it difficult to for the bot to run successfully. So in this case, it doesn't matter where that set of pattern that we decide occurs. Template matching will take care of identifying such a pattern on the UI and then identify it. We'll see how that looks like in the demo. So let me switch to the studio here. This is my sample application. This is a UI automation type of bot where I'm interacting with Windows CRM application. It's a Windows application. We can very well use Windows Connector to interact with it, but for the demo's sake, I'm using the Surface Automation to do OCR on the screens and then try to understand how I can read labels and text, and then click on buttons, etc. So here, in this demo, what I'll do is I'll try to input some random data here and then read first name and last name using OCR. And also I have this one particular control, which is tab 2. This is a new zone type, which is this is the new control zone type called template. This is a new feature as part of the latest release. So what happens is although I'm using this template on this tab 2 text here, it is text, which is not a very good use of template match demo for in this case, but just to show that it doesn't matter what you choose on the screen, as long as the set of pixels match, you can define such a zone and try to identify the same during runtime. You can see there's tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. There's minor difference between these, but you will still be able to identify tab 2 correctly. So let me execute the bot. Okay, so it should start this Windows CRM application, and now we identified different labels, enter values all through OCR, and it's able to read first name and last name and then throw it in a pop-up. That's a workflow logic. And yeah, it's in a loop. It does this for first 5 entries. So let me wait till we go through all of them. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it has trouble clearing it. So okay. Okay, it is stuck for some reason. Maybe let us quickly try again once more. So yeah, it should again read first few entries using OCR, and then it just mentions what it reads via first name and last name in the pop-up. Let me just quickly go through that. Okay. Okay, should get another pop-up. Yeah. One more, I guess. Okay, so now you see it has clicked on tab 2. So the tab 2 was identified using template matching. So you can imagine it can be an icon button or a logo or anything that you would like to interact with your application. So hope that was clear from the demo. And yeah, that's it from my side.
Cool, thank you very much. Yes, now we have a more extended demo for a longer period of time. Now I want to hand over to Rajesh, Sebastian, and Fred, showing end-to-end demo.
Thank you. So I'll be sharing end-to-end demo for how to create a bot with SAP GUI. So it would be a sample application, and then we'll see the improvement done in this 2002 release. Okay, so I'll directly jump to okay. So as you already saw, this we are in Desktop Studio now. So what I'll automate, what I'll create, let me show you the flow. So we'll start the SAP GUI logon screen, and from there we'll open this QKX connection, and once the QKX connection is open, we'll exit from the QKX connection. So it's a simple bot just to interact with the SAP GUI. So we'll start with the new project. I'll say demo project name. So I've given the details required. Now what we need is, so our application project is created. In this project, we need to add applications. So for SAP GUI, things to be noted is we'll have to start with UI automation. Once we start with UI automation, as subpart, we get SAP GUI. So I'll open the first page to capture. So we'll capture this as an application. As of now, we are adding the application. You see, you can already see the list here. In the list, you can see that SAP Logon 750 is listed. We capture that for the application. So the first step is to add the application. I have added SAP Logon 750 as the application. Now we'll start capturing pages. So there's two ways to capture a page. We can simply choose a technology from here and refresh or like list all the pages available for that technology, or you can specifically go to the page which we want to capture and say control hover on that page. We'll get an outline like this. And then we say capture the page. So this is our first page. So next page, what we need to capture is our QKX connection. So we'll capture this page also. So from the application, I right click and say capture a new page. Go to the page and do control hover. Let's wait for this to capture. Okay. Let's try this now. So we can, the other approach which I talked about is this, we can choose technology and list the pages available. So I can see that this page is available for capture within SAP GUI. We do the capture. So I think this zoom control interfered with the control hover. This did not work for the control hover. So it's a chance for me to show the second option also. Okay, we'll wait for this to be captured and then we'll move to the other page. Looks like SAP systems are slow in the afternoon. Be done in a minute now. Okay. So yeah, it's done. So we have captured 2 of our pages. So the next step is we'll click on, once you click on exit, there is one more pop-up which we also need to be captured. So from the application, I'll say capture one more page. On this pop-up, I'll do a control hover. See, the pop-up is selected. Now I capture this pop-up. Okay. So I have captured all the required pages. So see, all these pages are showing red because we have not given any identifier to those pages. So what I'll do is I'll start from the first page. I'll say that for this page, if the name is SAP GUI 750, that should be the identifier for the page. And in that page, so in a page, you need to create item wherein we want to interact. So here we want to interact with the QKX. So we double click on the QKX and you see a item has been created. So I'll move on to the next page. I'll give them the identifier for that. And here we'll interact with the exit button. There is one more way to create an item. You can right click and say associate to a new item. So if you notice for these items, the criteria is automatically getting selected. So this feature is called smart criteria. So it was there from the initial release, but there are few improvements here that I'll talk later. So I forgot to add the page, so text, okay. So my page captures are done. So these are my pages which I require. So my capture and recognition is done. What I'll do now is create the workflow. So this is my page name. If I right click, you can see a new workflow, say demo, save it. So this initial start option will get. So what I'll just expand it a bit so that's clear. So from the activity, so my process is, if you remember, I'll start this SAP Logon 750, then I'll open the QKX connection, then I'll exit the QKX connection. So this was the process. So to start the application, I'll add the activity to start the application. The property, I'll say which application to start. Our SAP Logon 750 is the application we want to start. So once that application is started, first page is our SAP Logon 750 page. There, what we need to do is double click on the QKX. So I'll say double click, I drag and drop on top of this item. It's assigned to that item. So once the double click is done, our next page should be appearing. That is this. And in that page, we need only click. So where you need to click is in the exit button. So I'll put the click on the exit button. Then once you click on the exit button, we'll see a pop-up. So I'll put the pop-up here. And in that pop-up, we need to click on the yes. So we do this. Now my workflow is ready. What I'll do is I'll build this project and we'll see the running. So for running, there are one option is to run it debug mode to test it locally, and other option is through the Cloud Factory. So running it through the Cloud Factory will take some time, so this will show in the debug mode so that it's easier to demo. Okay, so this is our debugger just started. Starting, let's We should be seeing our agent icon somewhere here. Yeah, icon is here. So if I click on the agent, we see our workflow name, which is given as demo. I run this workflow. My hands are off the system now. Yeah, starting the SAP GUI application. So I'm showing this demo on a very low powered VM. So this is also one more reason for this being a bit slow. Yeah, so this is the end-to-end demo for the SAP GUI. So what I have done is I have prepared one more project just to show the new functionalities. We'll just stop it. I'll open the QKX connection. So I have prepared one project already to show what all are the new functionalities on the 2002 release. I'll just quickly go through this. So out of these, like there are a good number of improvement in the SAP GUI in 2002 release. I'll just show a few handful of them. So you see, I already have a project with multiple pages captured and with my items created. So I'll just delete this item maybe to show you. So I was talking about the smart criteria, right? So it was there from the earlier, but there are few control which were not supported in the smart criteria, which are say, you can say bit of a hybrid control. Those are like ALB grid button and all those things are a custom control. Now those, if you see, if I add an item for this item has been created and smart criteria is working. So before 2002, this for this type of button, for SAP GUI control toolbar button, the smart criteria was not there. So now that is also added. So I'll move to the next improvement in the design time. So next improvement is in the 2002 release. So we have added a good number of activity throughout the technology. So to organize it better, what we have done is we have grouped it based on the control. So if you see, I'll show only the SAP GUI part here. Now you have a group for control type. So for GUI control tree, you have the activity inside a GUI control tree subfolder in the activity, and same goes for GUI session. So these things are grouped now. Even for UFA and other technologies, we have grouped with activities. So this is the improvement on the activity grouping, and there are few new activities also, like good number of activities added in 2002 to make the board development easier. Okay, so this was the design time upgrade. I'll just run this again as a debug in the debug mode to show you the updates done, further updates done. So I'll just a short note, I'll show it in the debug mode to save time, and the new features are spread over multiple controls and multiple pages. So we'll not be able to show it properly if we create a bot. So I'll be showing directly from the debugger window. So the method which I am using here, the method name and the activity name are more or less similar. So I'll share the activity name where you can find the activities from the document later, but just for timing, we'll show it from here. So what I'll do is there are new activities for the GUI status bar message. I'll show those activities now first. So if I run the first line in the output, you see we get the entire message. This was there earlier before 2002. Now what we have done is we have added few more methods, like the type of the message. So with that you can get either it's a success message or a failure or warning. So there are few more like this. I'll not go into everything. So next feature is the navigation within the SAP GUI. So as you know, for navigation to go into any transaction code in SAP GUI, we need to set our transaction here in this T code field, and then you need to click on a execute button or enter. So it's a 2-3 steps process. Instead, what you've done in some theme, we saw that this tick button is not there. So to simplify all those, we have given a new activity called start transaction. Inside the start transaction, we can simply give the transaction where you want to go, and it should navigate to the transaction. Now from any transaction to come back to the main page or the home page, we can call the end transaction. So for those two also we have the activity. So in the meantime, I'll go and show you the activity for these two. So what we have triggered now is, if you see, this is the end transaction and there is the start transaction. So whatever I'm showing in the debugger, for everything the transactions are activities are there. Just yeah. So the next control I'll show is the SAP GUI tree control. I'll just highlight this tree control to make it easier. Yeah. So this is the red color highlighted control, which is our tree control. What I'll try to automate here is inside of is owner. So this is one node. So if you want to right click and select some menu of this node, or if you want to double click, how can we do that? We can see that. So let's see that. So to click on a node or to right click and select some menu from the node, we need the node key. So there are two ways to get the node key. One is through the text. We can mention the text of the node and we'll get the node key. One is path. So 2231 is if you start from the beginning, from the favorites. Favorites is 1, then the SAP menu is the 2. Next level again 1, 2. And next level workplace 1, telephone 2, and then appointment 3, and then owner is 1. So this is the path. So I'll just execute any one of these, not both. So say we get the key for that. I just copied that key. I'll paste it over. Yeah, same. So once you get the key, you can interact with that node. Here you can say select that node. See that node is selected. We can double click on that node. So I'll just execute the double click. So we have double clicked on the owner node, and there is one more way, activity, which will do the similar action. If we right click on the node, and suppose I want to click on this first option after right click from the menu. So what I can run is, so here also we have two options. We can do it from the position or the text. I'll just run the position activity. We give the node key and then the position of the menu which we want to select. So for our case, we'll select the 0th one, which will take us to the calendar page. Okay, so this was for the SAP GUI tree control. If we go to our activity screen, and if you look for GUI tree, this is the GUI tree. You can see all these activities are here. Say get node key by path, get node key, node item text, then select context menu by position. This is what I just ran. Select context menu by item. So whatever I'm showing in the debugger, all the activities are present in their respective control grouping. So that now we are in this page, I'll show you the calendar control. So this is a new support. I'll show which one is the calendar control. So this red highlighted one is the calendar control, which will interact with. So there is two methods to get the date. One is get date, which will give you a single date. So if you see that it shows a range of date is selected. So get date will give you the first date, whatever is selected. And if you want to get all the dates which are selected, we can call the get range. So we have starting date and end date. And format is this one, YYYY_MMDD. Similarly, we can select a date. If in the similar format, we just need to pass that 2002 March, it's 0501 is what we have selected, and we can select the entire month also with the range. So this is a particular upgrade for the calendar control. Now to show the next upgrade, I'll just go to the page where that control is available. Just give me a second. To show the demo, I have taken chosen a table where there is a good number of data is there, so that you can see the improvement. So if you see this table, I have captured this table, and one use case for this table could be we need all the data for a cell for all the rows. So suppose for name, we want to get all the names, whichever there in this table visible. So to get that in the design time, what we do is from the page, this is the page, we can create item for the name, and we can group the criteria with occurs. So similarly, we have done for currency. So I'll show only the currency part. So this is one item which refers to the currency. And if you see, the criteria is only text. So for the similar control, I have created one more item with the criteria name. So the performance update we have done is if you select name or ID as a criteria, it would be good number of faster than the all the other criteria. So it would be, it's more of a best practice that you select name and ID, name or ID, if it is feasible for that control. So I'll so this line which I have commented is the line which I have commented is the item which has the text. I'll not run it, it will take good amount of time. What I'll do is I'll run it which has the name as a criteria. Let me just resize and place it so that you can see it highlighting. Okay, so this is the currency cell we need to highlight. So I have clicked on the execute. It's yeah. So
Rajesh,
yeah,
just want to remind you to wrap up in a few minutes,
yeah, sure.
if okay.
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, so this was the performance update. If we have done it with the criteria text, it would have taken like at least 3 to 4 times more longer. So again, in the table control, we have other improvement like scrolling to the next page, previous page. We can select row. We can get all the row which are visible. We can. I'll just run one command which gives us all the columns name. If you see, we get the columns name. So similarly, there are new methods for the table control. As I'm overshooting, I'll just wrap up with this session control. So we have added few more method for the session type. What you can get from here is you can see the session number on which session we are in, and then the user which has logged in, and the connection name or the system name. So we are logged into QKX. So yeah, so these are the new updates. So I haven't shown all the updates done for the 2002. If you go to the help.sap.com/IRPA, there you'll have a what's new column. So there you'll get all the list of the updates which are done for the 2002. Yeah, I think that will be it for my demo. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sebastian, do you want to take over?
Yes, yes. Do you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I will speed up mine if you don't mind. Share. Okay. So we prepare one slide, but I propose to skip it. Okay. So I have already prepared a project in order to use our new feature, which is to create appointments based on Outlook. So first of all, what is new? In Excel, we have organized the activities. Now it's better organized than before, so it should be easier to use for you. And in Outlook, we have now activities, account, appointment, meeting, and store. So we have provided a lot in appointment section. We have a context. So I don't want to take time now to explain what is the context. We have recording a webinar, especially on that yesterday. It will be published very soon. Next days, next weeks, I don't know, but it will be published very soon. So I encourage you to watch it. So of course, I will not explain that today. And we have provided an helper, an activity helper, in order to help you to extract appointment from a time slot. Okay. Typically, if you want to fill on your side a timesheet, and if you want to try to do it automatically, you will have this helper to help you. And typically, we will use it in this demo. So I have already created a project. I have created a scenario to delete some private appointments. Private because I flag them as private, okay? And I explain in my webinar how I create that. And same, I explain in the webinar how I create that, okay? And this scenario is, I use the famous helper here to extract appointments for a time slot. And then I open Excel and I push the appointments in Excel, okay? So of course, on your side, you can push it on a web page or whatever you want, of course. Here's just an example. So I switch quickly on my calendar. So for a privacy reason, I use the first week of November, okay? And here I have published the project on the store, on the factory, sorry. So first of all, I have created a scenario to create fake meetings. I try to correspond to the reality for you. So for example, for this one, we can interact, of course, because this is a real meeting. I have set some categories and we will see those categories when we will extract the meetings. So I run now the delete private appointments. So private are the purple ones, okay? So delete private appointments, okay? So they are deleted. And now I extract them into Excel. So Excel will be opened, yeah? And I have to fill that. And if we check work on topic A, okay, we have the hours and the duration, work on topic B, work on topic C, etc. Okay, so it's extracted. And I was connected to the factory. So now I let Fred show you the great monitoring that we have now to follow what happened. Okay.
Thanks, Sebastian. So I will share my screen.
Yes.
There we go. So here we are in the factory. So what we added in 2002 is, in terms of monitoring, is a couple of new capability. So first of all, just look at the deployment used by Sebastian. So you can see that.
I think we don't see your screen, Fred.
Oh, we don't see my screen. Okay, it's better now.
Yes, it's really better.
Okay. Okay, sorry. So sorry about that. So I was on the home page, so I see the number of agents connected and what are the activity on the factory. So if I go to deployment, I can see the project used by Sebastian for his demo, and the project has been sent as added to his machine. So what we added in 2002 in terms of monitoring. So the first things we added is if you go to the agent tab, for instance, you can see all the current agent, and you can see that this one is mine and this one is the agent of Sebastian. If you click on the agent, you get an history about all the communication between the factory and the agent. So this is extremely useful to understand what's going on. So sometimes people were asking, okay, how many projects are available on this agent? So here you can see that on agent of Sebastian. He has 2 projects and he executed the configured calendar weeks. So that's something which is extremely useful. You can also download the traces as an Excel file. So this is a CSV. And what you can do also, sorry, I'm connecting, so I don't know what's going on, sorry. What you can see also, so I was on the event tab, you can click on job executed, and you have also an opportunity to see the job executed, the scenario executed on the agent by Sebastian. So that's the first addition we did in 2002. The second addition is that some customers ask us to centralize, I will say, some kind of abnormal information. So we have now a log tab where you can see some information or some error happening in your system. So once again, you can download the information as a CSV. So that's basically the key addition we did to the traditional monitoring. Those tasks remain the same, of course. So for people who are not familiar, you can filter down on a specific environment. You can filter down on a specific package, for instance. And of course, on a specific machine, if you want to filter down your list, and you can play with the calendar to filter down the information. So that's basically the new addition for the monitoring capability. The second part of what we added in 2002, so as explained, the centralized log. What he did also is we manage the authorization at the environment level. So that's something completely new. So we can assign some privilege to the environment, and of course, the privilege will be inherited. So the trigger and the deployment will inherit their right from the environment. So that's what I will show you in a couple of seconds. What is important is just to understand the key privilege we are used by the environment. So the first one is the read privilege. So basically, you are able to list the environment and the corresponding job. Something which is a little bit more powerful is the edit privilege. So you get the read capability plus the capability to modify the environment and to manage the variable, except the hierarchy variable, because the agent management remain the scope of the officer. And the last one is manage, which is the most powerful privilege, which is the combination of the two other one, plus the capability to share your environment with some of your team member. And the role which is now dedicated to that is what we call the project member. And project member has been also revisited for this release. So let's start to use this capability. So before that, I would like to show you. So I created a second. So you see in black and in yellow. I don't know if you're able to see, but here I'm an officer, and I can see everything. Here in this session, I'm only a project member. So I am only a project member. So if you go on the home page, first of all, you see that there is a couple of differences. So you are not able to see what's going on the agent because you are not an officer. And if you go to your deployment as an officer, I can see everything. Here, I am not able to see the deployment, of course. And management, same thing. I have one environment, and here I have no environment. So first of all, what I have to do as an officer is to share my environment with my project member. So in this case, I'm adding the email of my project member. And as I said, you can just read, edit, or manage the environment. So in my case, I want to give him the right to edit the environment. So now you can see that myself and the project member have an access to this environment. If I refresh my page, you can see that now I have an access to the environment. So that's something which is important. And of course, if I go to this environment, if I create a variable as a project member, so you can create, I don't know, name, cert name. If I want to create a certification name, you can see that I can create a text variable, a credential variable, but I have no capability to create a hierarchy variable, which is used for managing the agent. So that's basically the big addition we did, and of course. If you go to also to monitoring, for instance, if I go back to the job executed by Sebastian previously, so not this one. Okay, so maybe I will not be able to show you. Yes, this one. Yeah, you don't see the difference. Okay, sorry. No, that's basically what we mean, what we make in terms of improvement. So the capability to monitor the agent and the log, and the improvement on the environment privilege. That's basically what I have for you today. And now it's time to hand over to Simon, who will show you an advanced version of the demo.
Yeah. So let me share my screen. So yeah, I'm going to do let's say an advanced demo on the whole solution, intelligent robotic process automation. So what I'm going to show is how to leverage the design of the Desktop Studio, the different Cloud Studio skills, and the launch and monitoring features into one scenario. And this scenario is that we have a list of equipments associated to a person. And we want to analyze if each one of these equipments, and we want to decide for every equipment if it is eligible for replacement or not. And in the case it will be eligible for replacement, we'll send an alert, a notification to the user using the Cloud Studio user task. Okay, so I'm directly going to show the demo. So here I'm in the Desktop Studio, and I will just open the project, the scenario I have designed. So this is a simple scenario that has just one step, and it displays the list of equipments that are eligible for replacement. So for that, we use a data structure that is an array of equipments, and an equipment is an object containing different fields such as name, type, and the age of the equipment. So you can see in the properties here that we are using the equipments as input of this scenario and also as output. But this scenario, in fact, will just return the eligible ones in the output. So then you can see in the code that is the only step of my scenario, but I'm just triggering the eligibility scenario. And this scenario is just showing up a pop-up here. And this pop-up, in fact, is displaying all the equipments we gave as input. So it retrieves here the equipment from the inputs of the scenario. And by a simple, very simple computation, we display the equipment that are eligible for replacement in green, and the one that are not in red. Okay. And so you can see also that we store that the equipments that are eligible for replacement in a specific data structure that will be sent back in the outputs of the scenario. So we would be able to leverage it from the Cloud Studio. So now I will just export the project. So I will just take version 2.1 because I have already an existing version. So what we will do next while waiting for the export is that we will import this package in a Cloud Studio project, and we will start to build skills and other artifacts for our flow execution. So now that I have well exported the project, I can go on the Cloud Studio. I will just create the project that I will name eligibility project. So first thing here is that we're going to import the desktop package previously generated. And just take the 2.1 version and import it here. So what you can see is that we have the scenario here. We just designed compute eligibility, and that we have the inputs equipments and also the outputs equipment. So as a reminder, it will be only the eligible equipments sent as output, okay? So you can also see that the according data type has been created during the import, and I'm going to activate the skill and to save it. And now for the needs of my scenario, I'm going to create another data type that is person. And I'm going to describe this data type. So we can say that person has a first name, a name as well. A name is a required property. This will provide some additional capabilities of, to validate the data, the input data in the triggers. A person has also an age, that is a number, an email address that will be required as well, and a role that is an enumeration. So that's new capabilities coming in 2002, required an enumeration constraints. So enumeration, that's just an additional check that your field just contain a value that is defined in a set of predefined values. And most important thing here for person, we assign a list of equipments, because when the data of a person will be provided, we will also have his equipments associated that will be provided with the data, with the input data. So then I will create the user task to alert the user, and this will take as input an equipment, because it will display for this equipment that it is eligible for replacement. And I will also put in input the email address so we can reach the user we want to notify. And in the subject, I will just put some random data, and in the description, we're going to tell that the user task alerts if an equipment is eligible or not. So this is like a notification. And in the recipient, I just put the email of the user we want to reach. Okay. So here I'm going to put two labels. The first one will take the variable equipment.name. So if I type E, I will see every field of equipment, every subfield of equipment that are available. Okay. And in the second label, I will put the constant is eligible for replacement. So during execution time, the user will see the equipment name. So for example, iPhone 8 is eligible for replacement. So now that I have my form to notify the user, so yeah, just let me add the approve button so we can still go on the execution flow. Then I save the user task, and then next step will be to create the process to orchestrate everything and to gather every artifact we just designed. So first thing in the process is that it will be executed, and it will handle person data. So we'll give the person as input. And then we'll drag and drop the scenario we designed on Desktop Studio, that is compute eligibility, and the user task alert to alert the user. So the first scenario test take as input a list of equipments. So we're going to provide the equipments associated to the person we have. So if I type E, I will see the person that equipments. Okay, and so this scenario is providing as output all the eligible equipments. So I can pass, for example, the first equipments coming from this output to the alert. And I can also pass the email of the person to reach. We will have this data during the execution. And so now that everything is ready, my process is ready for execution, I can generate the package, and I will be then able to deploy it and run it and schedule an execution and run it. So that's the last part of my demo. So yeah, now we have all the package. Let's deploy it. So I have a predefined environment that is pointing on my machine. So you will be able to see the execution on my agent. Okay. So we have now a deployment created, and let's add a trigger to it. So the trigger will be based on the process we just designed, eligibility process, and we're just going to put here a fake schedule because we are going to run it now for the demo. So you can see here that I have the person data asked as input, and I have some fields already pre-filled. And you can see that, for example, if I remove name, the validation tells me that the property name is missing because it was required. Same thing for the role, as it is in an enumeration, we need to provide a value that is defined in the predefined set we just put in the design of our data type. Okay, so I'm going now to paste the data I have on my clipboard, and the most important thing to see are the equipments. You can see that I have provided all my equipments, an iPhone 8 that is H2, a MacBook that is H1, and my HP workstation that is H4. So now I'm just going to run the trigger. And we're now waiting for our agent to download the package and to run the scenario execution. So you can see here that the process is running. So let's just wait a bit. You can see here that we are downloading the package, extracting it. And yeah, if I go back to the monitoring part, we will see that the scenario execution is ready. So it will come in a few. Okay, the compute eligibility. And now you can see the execution went here. So the iPhone 8 and the MacBook Pro are not eligible for replacement, but my HP workstation is, because its age was 4. Okay, so that's a very simple scenario. And then if I close this, I go to my inbox, I should have received the notification. Let's just check out. Yeah, so you can see that I received the notification that my HP workstation is eligible for replacement. So I just click on the approval button to terminate my flow execution. And if I refresh the monitoring, we will see that the eligibility process went successfully with the 2 steps here, the desktop scenario execution and also the user task execution. So that's it for the demo. So I already presented that slide. If you have questions about this demo or all the demos you see today, feel free please to post them on the SAP community page you have here. And most important thing, don't forget to use the tag SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation tag. Yeah, and yeah, I hand over to you, Melina, for the Q&A part if there is still some time missing.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks to all speakers and all the great demos. I think it was good to have this deep dive and yeah, see how you do it. And I hope it was very helpful for our audience. Now, while we go through the last questions of Q&A, I want to launch the poll that any one of you is invited to yeah, participate. And meanwhile, yes, I have posted the link to the SAP community Q&A question space where you can ask questions further on and get help by the community. Also, there are blog posts that you can read, and of course there's this one community topic page where you can gain all information, getting started, resources, tutorials, and everything. This is what I will also share in the chat, but also in the description of this recording once it's uploaded. Again, we have an SAP community calls page where you can see previous and upcoming community calls, and also where we will have the presentation and recordings shared. But now with the last minutes we have, I would like to maybe go over the last questions that we have open. So let me start to read it out. One from Najendra: I am struggling in screen capture process. If you could share exact steps for it. Does anyone of you want to take this question for now? If you think it's maybe deserves a lot of time to have a detailed answer for this, then I recommend that we also publish this in the community, so that, I mean, depending on how you feel like you want to reply to this answer right now.
Okay, so I can put some point here. So the question is not specific on which technology or what, but in general in IRPA, to capture a screen, there are two methods. One is control hover on that page, which will automatically detect even the technology of that page. And one more is select the technology by yourself and list from the list of pages, you select one. So I think if you review the video of this call, the screen capture is there in SAP GUI demo. So it would be, yeah, so.
Okay, cool. So then I assume you answered the question live. Balbir is asking, now he has created a bot, but his second bot will be, let's say, 70% similar to the first one. It would be quicker to copy the bot and then adjust. It's more a statement, maybe right or wrong, or?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay, good.
Correct. I also answered to the previous question of Balbir. So I think we can have this discussion outside. But yeah, in fact, you can reuse some declaration parts and even workflows, but that needs, let's say, low-level manual actions for now. And in the coming versions, we are working on making this easier.
Okay, thank you. Then one of the questions that frequently came up in customer meetings is how RPA is better than UiPath. Is there any convincing point or sales pitch in comparison between two technologies?
Okay, maybe I can try and answer a little bit on that. Yeah, current, if you look at the current situation, probably not much differentiators, but soon you'll see some of them coming up. We are working on those in Bangalore team. So with those changes in place, you will be able to directly work with the APIs to do to create certain bots, avoiding all the other things like UI and related overheads. So it'll be very simpler to just use underlying APIs, since SAP knows what underlying APIs are being used. So we can take advantage of that and then build simpler and more elegant bots. So that's still a work in progress.
Thank you.
Capability of the product is that our bots are both, you can execute our bot both in attended and unattended mode without any modification. So I think this one is a key asset of our solution. And maybe another point which is important for you is that, of course, we are part of SAP and we are improving all the integration with SAP technology. So this means that we are improving for each release, and the demo today shows the improvement we did for SAP GUI, for instance, but it's extended to any kind of other integration with UI5, Concur, SuccessFactors, all the other solutions we have in SAP. And finally, we are also working with deep integration with our dashboarding solution and, for instance, SAP Analytical Cloud. So this means that you will see more and more deep integration between IRPA and those SAP solutions.
Okay, thank you for your answer, Fred. Next one, while rebuild of workflow, there are no options of merge. Can anyone help to elaborate on all those options? Because sometimes the manual code gets vanished, which is written under JavaScript.
Kind of strange. We should probably get deeper into it. You have normally an option to insert a merge tool inside the Desktop Studio. That's what you are explaining does not happen. So we should get this question for our support to dig into it. Because there's no explanation why you would lose your JavaScript development inside the studio. Yeah, just assure you that you have already configured a merge tool inside the studio. That's the first thing. And if it's the case, perhaps come back to me and we'll dig into it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In general, I would say if you have issues or questions that need, further help by the experts, again, it's good to post them in the community under Q&A with the tag SAP Intelligent RPA. Now, just a real quick question, since we are over time, I don't want to hold up on the speakers and you attendees with this call. Yeah, I would say, do you have, I'm asking the speakers now, do you want to take the time and answer the questions now live, or do you want to take them separately offline?
I think separately offline makes sense.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this call was already 1.5 hours, and it was really great to have so many attendees, and also your time to run us through the demos. Now that we have a few more questions open, I would propose that we take them offline, and we can get back to you whether it will be in a collected blog post where we maybe have a summary of this call with the leftover questions that are in here now, or in a different way, but we'll definitely get back to the questions. Then I would like to wrap up this call and thank the speakers for the really valuable insights here and the demos, and thank you attendees for your time and attending, and I wish you a good day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.